What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to gym class. Today we're going to talk about deload, and more importantly, the deload week. What is deload, you're going to ask? There's tons of information all over the internet, as with just about everything nowadays. And the danger with some of that is that the novice lifter can get roped in to a lot of things that don't particularly pertain to them, but that article or whatever article or video you're going to read, it may seem like it is important to you. Deload is one of the topics that you're going to commonly have this problem with. Now, deload, there are people who are for it, there are people who are against it. Let's break it down. The reason for deload is pushing your body to a certain point and then needing to back off to prevent either injury, to promote muscle growth, or to prepare for a competition. Now, the novice lifter, and when I say novice, I mean at least under a year, doesn't really need to worry about the deload. And the first thing that usually you're not needing to worry about is injury. Unless you're lifting too heavy a weight and you're going away from a program, which I would stress that you get on, find some structure in your workout. Injury, if you're lifting too much weight than you should and you're compromising your form, then you are very, very prone to injury. You don't need a deload week, you need a plan, and you need to check probably your ego. 2, muscle growth. This also doesn't pertain to the novice lifter. The novice lifter in his first year of a very structured, planned, and solid workout, and when I mean solid, I mean your workout regimen is squared away, your eating and sleeping habits are squared away, you are taking this seriously. You don't need to worry about that. For muscle growth, you need to be hitting hypertrophy daily. Number 3, getting ready for a competition. Most competitors probably won't be watching this video, but most competitors will deload the week before a competition, and that is simply to give their body a break, to let rest, attribute to strength building and muscle growth. They will use this time to promote all of those things in their body to get ready for the competition, and also to cut down on the chances of injuring themselves before they're going to actually compete. So let's get into some of the things that you're actually going to read when you Google deload or deload week. 1 is quantitative versus qualitative. This usually isn't explained very well, and it also kind of lays a trap for the novice lifter. Quantitative versus qualitative means your quantity, how much and how often you are lifting. This does depend very much on if you need a deload. If you're lifting 5 to 6 times a week, you need to take a rest period anyways. And if that usually means that you're going for muscle mass and not actually strength. You're doing low weight and high rep. Qualitative, whatever. Qualitative is usually the amount that you're lifting. So if you're going for strength versus muscle mass. And strength, low rep, high weight. Muscle mass, high rep, low weight. Which program you're working depends on if you actually need a deload week. Most people who are lifting heavy amounts of weight for low reps have a higher chance of injury because, and most people will disagree with me on this one, the heavier weight that you're lifting, you're constantly pushing your body, you are unprepared, usually, for the amount of weight that you're going to be lifting. You are more prone to injury. The heavier weight that you're lifting, the more you're pushing yourself, the more form breaks down. The more your form breaks down. The higher reps and the lower weight usually don't have this problem. Yes, they are going to failure, but it is a light enough weight to control and keep in proper form. Number 2, find a different workout. These are some of the things that you're going to read. I've heard contrast weeks, not necessarily a deload week, or lowering your rep week, lowering your weight week. There's all different kinds. They all essentially are a deload week. Deload's pretty broad, right? So finding a different workout. This is the one that I tend to agree with the most, but I'm not taking a position on this. So choosing a different program or a different workout is essentially going from a mad cow workout or a strong lift workout, which is essentially just 5x5s, right, of fundamental lifts, and taking a week. You could do it every 3 weeks, or every 4 weeks, 3 weeks of training, 1 week deload. Do it at your own, whatever makes you feel comfortable, and take that time to maybe do some isolation movements. And mentally is one of the biggest things. Routines get boring. Nobody likes doing the exact same thing every single day or every other day for years on end. That's why professional athletes get paid more than everybody else. It's because they're willing to do that. And they can. Genetics aside, but so maybe instead of a deload week, once you're feeling mentally stressed, and your body will let you know this, maybe take the time to do a week and switch up your routine. And if you're doing more strength exercises, instead of going to the gym every other day, maybe go to the gym 4 times a week, 2 on, 1 off, 2 on, and do some isolation movements, do some flies, do dumbbell work, do something that gets you a nice pump and makes you feel good, makes you get back into working out if you've hit a lull, if you've hit a plateau, really. Number 3, pay attention to your body. This is something that you're not really going to see a whole lot about. And why? It's because it doesn't really sell the particular gym motto. It doesn't sell supplements. It doesn't sell articles. It doesn't promote views, and it doesn't promote traffic. But pay attention to your body. Your body's going to tell you when it's tired. When you walk into a gym one day and you're feeling amazing, you're feeling like the Hulk, and every one of your lifts is going great, you're feeling strong, that is a good time to be lifting. If you're walking into the gym and you don't fucking want to be there, don't be there. Do some exercises. Yeah, don't make it a wasted trip. Get your heart rate up at least a little bit, but pay attention to your body. Don't worry about what all of these articles are saying to you about, hypertrophy, about, your protein synthesis or anything. Go into the gym, build yourself a base, and begin to enjoy it and begin to love it, because that's the only way that you're going to look like all these guys that are, on all these articles and on all these videos. That's the only way you're going to do it. They've been doing it for years, and you're not going to get there in your first year. It sucks, but if you learn to love it, then you are willing to do it for a couple of years to get that way. So pay attention to your body. You know what I mean? Work out hard as shit when you're feeling good. You know what I mean? And don't use that as an excuse to just say, well, it's winter solstice, so I can't lift that heavy. I'm just not feeling that well. Don't use that as an excuse. I'm talking about when you're mentally drained, when you've had a long day, you know what I mean? Go in there and lift. And sometimes going in there and just lifting light and just kind of warming up will break you out of that. So pay attention to your body. So at the end of the day, just remember, deload weeks are good for you. Whatever you're calling them. They are all the same. You're lowering the intensity of your workout, or you're changing it. Either way, you're lowering the intensity of your workout. If you're following a program, if you're working out and resting the proper amounts, if you're eating the correct diet, and you're getting enough sleep, deload should not be an issue. If you're an older lifter, that is a different story, all right? If you're a competing athlete, that is a different story. If you are exercising and lifting, maybe even preparing to compete eventually, then this is what we're talking about. The deload can be useful. The deload can be useful if you're using it correctly. All right, and this again is not for novice lifters. If you've been lifting under a year, you do not need a deload week. To recap, for a deload, the information pertaining to it that you'll find, I think we've covered kind of just about everything that you're going to find, and hopefully it's been clarified. Quantitative versus qualitative. Qualitative. Fuck that word. Qualitative. Quantitative. The amount of days, how often you're lifting. Qualitative. The weight and the intensity that you're training with. Number 2, find a different workout. This is the contrast thing. Deload. Find a different workout. Go do some isolation movements. Work with dumbbells. Maybe stop squatting. Don't stop squatting. Maybe hold off on the deadlift a little bit. Number 3, pay attention to your body. I think this one is the most important. You pay attention to your body. If you're feeling sore, if you think maybe you have an injury coming on, don't push it. Mentally, if you're drained, take a fucking break. A day, couple of days. Don't stretch it into weeks. It's a deload week, not deload month. All right? I think that has covered just about anything that you might need to know. If you have any more questions, please leave comments down below. And always, exercise is good for you, no matter the form. But do your research and don't believe the hype. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. New videos regularly.